Hello and welcome to No Waffle GCSE. Today we're going to be looking at how to answer Paper 1, Section B of GCSE English Language. If you want to navigate your way through the video, feel free to do so with the timestamps in the description box below. But first, let's start at Assessment Objectives. So for Paper 1, Section B, there's two assessment objectives that you need to keep in mind, AO5 and AO6. Now, this is much different to all of the other assessment objectives since this is language creative writing. AO5 is being able to communicate clearly, effectively, imaginatively, adapting tone, style, and register, and basically using your creativity in the best way possible. Also, your ability to organize information and provide some structure to your writing as well. AO6 is all about being able to use a range of vocabulary and being accurate with your spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Now, AO6 constitutes for 20% of the marks, so that's equally important. Now, let's look at the mark and time division. In my previous video, I've already gone through Paper 1, Section A of the reading. So now let's look at Section B of writing. You are going to be advised 45 minutes on this section. There's only one question, question 5, and it's a choice question about creative writing. You're either given a picture or a prompt, and you have to choose between them which one you want to write about. So let's look at what the question looks like. So on the left, you can see a question. I believe it's from the 2020 paper. And it says you're advised to spend 45 minutes, write in 4 sentences. You're reminded you need to plan your answer and you should have enough time to check. So, your school or college is asking students to contribute some creative writing for its website. Either write a story about a magical world as suggested by the picture, or describe a place you think is beautiful. Now, please don't do both, choose one. And now let's look at the mark distribution, which is at the bottom of that page or in pink at the top. So you have 24 marks for content and organisation. So out of the 40, 24 is looking at what you're actually writing and how you're structuring it. And 16 of the 40 marks is for technical accuracy, looking at spelling, punctuation and grammar, and your range of vocabulary. Now, I have 4 top tips to achieve lots of marks here. So number 1, you need to use a range of grammar, from semicolons to brackets to dashes to quotation marks. You need to use what you normally don't use in day-to-day writing or writing for other exams. You need to make sure it's top level if you want to be achieving those grade 8s and grade 9s. Tip 2, use creative language devices, such as metaphors, similes, anaphora. In GCSE English Literature, we focus on analysing and annotating those. Now, what you need to do in this section, Section B, you need to actually put those into play. Use the metaphors, use the similes, as you already know the effect it happens and the effect it allows the reader to feel. Number 3, memorise and apply highly technical vocabulary. If you want to impress the examiner, one of the most common ways in this section is using those highly sought after vocabulary that's not often used. And finally, tip number 4, content organisation. So you need to plan your work. There needs to be a visible, loose structure in your writing. It can't be that it's just an onward flow of writing and there's no sort of structure as what you're going to do for each of the paragraphs. Now, the structure doesn't have to be too suffocating and suffocate your writing so you're not using your creativity, but it has to have some sort of structure. It shows when the examiner's reading how you've planned it. So here's a grade 9 40 out of 40 exemplar essay. I'm going to read it out, but if you want to skip this section or just read it yourself, feel free to just skip to the end. Thanks to Alwyn Paul, who suggested this, and I saw on his website this was there, and I think this is a really good example. Beep, beep. A noise reverberated in my head. All around me was a tranquility of nature. The birds in the canopy, chirping and twittering in distant melodies to their kin. Yet the only bird song that echoed in my mind was her laughter, the faint scurrying of rodents through the dense foliage, yet the only crunch I heard was her gentle footsteps on the fetid earth, the whistle of the wind, carrying the pungent aroma of the rotting pine bark. Yet all I remember is the sweet sense of her alabaster skin, sprayed with a tinge of lavender. A place of such serenity, but why is my mind so disturbed by echoes of a distant past? Beep, beep. It was getting louder. She had an insatiable love for Mother Nature, a thirst for discovery. I could see it in her rippled eyes, which reflected the lustre of the rays of mellow sunlight, which filtered in through the verdurous woodland, making her eyes shine an emerald glow. I sat atop the treehouse we built. We would often come up here and watch the distant sunset in the horizon, hemmed into a streak of magenta. Rich crimson-red hues would grace the sky, the colour of fire heats. Just like her auburn hair, which tousled with buoyant curls under the force of a gentle breeze. The clouds would be like cotton candy, blushed at the warm touch of the receding sun, with the silhouettes of the birds soaring away in the distance. Now, as I laid my weight upon the skeletal wood, it groaned with my weight. Alex and Sierra was engraved on the surface of the wooden boards, but Sierra's name was weathered by the lifeless days which followed the incident, now barely visible. The rain now drizzled down, which masked my bitter tears flowing down onto the eroded wood, as I reminisced my time with her. Beep, beep. The only noise which reverberated around my mind was this beep. I tried to force it away from my mind, but I failed. I sat there vulnerable like an empty shell to the torrent of despondent memories. The sheer thought of the day sent an ice-like poisoning chill down my spine, tranquilizing each bone, nerve, and muscle in the body, victim to the callous, echoing reminder that she was gone. 23rd of March 2020, a date permanently engraved into my memory. I sat by her hospital bunk. As she lay on the cusp of death, the emerald glow in her eyes was replaced with a lifeless maroon. I took her hand, just like I did all those times in the woodlands. I held it to my chest, hoping for something, anything. Perhaps, upon hearing the heavy beats of my heart punctuating against my chest, it too could give her life. But it failed. As I watched her porcelain face go slack and her body go limp, I let go. Let go of my love, let go of my happiness, let go of my Sierra. If anything, we were like a pathetic version of Romeo and Juliet. Star-crossed lovers, yet never meant to be. So that was a really good example of a grade 9 essay, and I would definitely recommend you looking at this. It's 40 out of 40 marks, and it uses a range of high-level vocabulary, high-level grammar, so make sure you keep that in mind. Well, thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. And for more advice, check out my Instagram at NoWaffleGCSE. There's daily resources uploaded there. But anyway, thank you for watching right to